Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Beachside Podcast. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and welcome to episode 62 of the show. Follow us on social media, I'm at PSP on Twitter, Beachside Pod on Instagram, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, enable notifications to receive all the updates of the podcast and other content on the channel. You can listen to this on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any other platform you want to. We're going to kick things off differently now. We're going to be bridging between the intro and the start reviewing of the matches and the fixtures in Europe by something different. Really, we're going to be talking about, I think, the talk of the hour in the footballing world, which is the contract leaked for Lionel Messi at Barcelona by El Mundo. It was, I think, a shock to the system in the last 24 hours when it happened in the 48 hours, really. Since it happens, it was leaked on Saturday night, and it contains a bonkers loads of money. I'm trying to, I'm going to be trying to remember that. I mean, by details, because I want everything to be smooth as silk. Messi's contract apparently was, the contract that he signed in 2017. The El Mundo said that the Argentine forward is worth 555 million euros. That is 492 million pounds, and includes a fixed income of 180 million euros per year, a loyalty bonus with 77 million euros, and also, the bonuses of the performance and what have you. But Barcelona obviously denied that the leak came in from the club's board. They didn't say that the contract was wrong, so that is something we're sure of. They didn't say that the figures are wrong or there's defamation in terms of leaking the contract. The contract is right, so it's about the fact that the board leaked it, and legally they could not do that because it should be something between Barcelona and Lionel Messi. Barcelona and Lionel Messi's agents and Barcelona's board, and nobody should see the contract in any way. But the fact is, it is obviously leaked from the inside, and Barcelona obviously threatening to legally sue the leaker and that when they know him. This is a weird situation because obviously people are now coming all over Messi, some of them cynically, I think, saying that he's the one who's bankrupted the club and, caused them to go into too much debt for his salary. I mean, maybe that is kind of justified because Messi is the highest earner in the world of football, really. He's the highest paid player in the world of football. He's not the highest, he's not the richest person in football because that would be Cristiano, though he is the highest earner in terms of the pure salary because 138 million euros per year is quite a really rough kind of money to pay. Of course, these 138 million euros per year is not exactly, not exactly stable figures because there is taxes. Messi is a person and pays taxes, and the tax is heavy on those kind of salaries and this kind of income because it was reported that I think it was 47% of that goes for taxes. That is quite heavy for someone like Messi, but still, I'm going to just say two things here. First of all, whoever leaked this contract is just looking for troubles. He's just looking for troubles for himself and for the board of Barcelona and for Messi, and looking to just go to the court. He just wants to go to jail because legally, that Messi's going to have all of the lawyers in the world. With those 555 million euros he's getting paid, he's going to be having all of the lawyers in the world to defend him. The Barcelona board is going to be suing, and obviously this is someone, I'm assuming there's someone who worked under Laporte, so it might be a leak from an old warrior inside the board of Barcelona. So this is an insider thing to say. So this thing, Koeman had a tantrum pretty much when he was asked about this. He said whoever published this has bad intentions and wanted to cause Barca damage, but we have to be united and focused. We have to forget about whatever has been published. this is not a criticism for Koeman's tactic on the pitch. This is a leak of a financial contract of a player in a situation for Barcelona where they have 1.3 billion euros in debt. So it's not going to be easy, really, to just, forget who's going to be, publishing this and whomever's going to be, trying to, cause Barca damage. You cannot exactly expect someone to cause Barca damage when he's in the current board on the current situation. So this is, again, I'm assuming there's going to be an old warrior from the Laporte administration who just wants to cause a lot of trouble before the election takes place on the 7th of March. So Barcelona officially, of course, released a statement about that, saying that Barcelona categorically denies any responsibility for the publication of this document and will take appropriate legal action against a newspaper, El Mundo, for any damage that might be caused as a result of this publication. FC Barcelona expresses its absolute support, especially in the face of any attempt to discredit his image, Lionel Messi that is, and to damage the relationship with the entity of the club he worked to become the best player in the world and in football history. That also comes after the last week actions when El Mundo published an article and reports saying that Barcelona are on the verge of bankruptcy of the almost 1.3 billion euros that I mentioned earlier. So with the fact that they have no president at the moment, with an interim board, running the operations at the club, with Jose Maria Bartomeu resigning in October, due to the, and the presidential election due to being held on March 7th. Of course, I apologize, I said Laporte earlier. In December, interim Carlos Tusquets claimed the club should have sold Messi last summer when he wanted to leave. Clearly, the club is in a financial dire situation. And the last thing I want to say really is, again, whoever published this, he's looking for trouble. He's looking to get his ass into a big trouble in the court. And, hopefully this blows over, really, into the next couple of weeks and maybe months, really. And people should be forgetting about this, but I don't think that people would forget about this easily in the current climate of Barcelona. And this should transition us nicely, really, to talking about La Liga altogether. Bridging from talk about Barcelona, and of course, 4 matches took place yesterday in La Liga. 2 goalless draws between Getafe and Alaves. Also, Granada and Celta Vigo drawn goalless, but those are not the important matches, really, to talk about in La Liga. Cadiz lost to Atletico 4-2, and of course Barcelona defeating Athletic Club 2-1. We get to Atletico Madrid, in a couple of minutes, but let's talk about Barcelona first. From that transition, Messi, played like someone who's paid 555 million euros. He showed up on the pitch and he delivered a performance of incredible proportions against a side that they, again, probably would have some trauma against from the Super Cup, event. And, it almost returned that trauma of sorts against Athletic Bilbao. Again, Messi scoring from the 20th minute from a beautiful free kick. And I mean a beautiful free kick. How beautiful? Well, Uri Alvarez almost, hugged the post trying to head this out. That is how narrow in the corner the free kick was. Unai Simon didn't even move. A beautiful goal. Barcelona playing really, really well in the first half. I mean, they had one of the best first halves I ever saw for them this season, in linking up, De Jong supporting, Pedri moving, Dembele being, given an incredible performance comparatively to what he used to do in Barcelona, really. Defending well, relatively, which is not the standard really for Barcelona in the last couple of seasons, but they did, and Umtiti had a terrific game as well, alongside Araujo. But in the second half, the problems started to appear for Barcelona, as Jordi Alba scored an own goal, which is just mad defending from Jordi Alba. Really, he should have done something better, really, in that. His marking in the first place was pretty wrong for Oscar de Marcos by his side. and he managed to finish it, and no best striker would finish that better than him, really, in the bottom corner of Ter Stegen. It is 1-1 for Athletic Club, and just like that, Athletic Club found themselves in the game and tried to make, changes to go more into the attack and try to win it, but in the end, Griezmann settled it with a 74th minute goal, the assist from Oscar Mingueza, but not just the assist. I mean, the assist might fool you, the fact that it's from Oscar Mingueza, but the movement between the whole team leading to that goal, from De Jong to Pedri to Messi to Griezmann himself in the first touch, and then linking up with Oscar Mingueza, who's doing well as a right back. I didn't expect him to be, this decent, I would say, not this good, because he's not anything special really, but I didn't expect him to be this good in a right back position. He might be a good makeshift for the absent Sergio Dest. So it's an important victory, I think, for Barcelona. 3 points that would put them second with Real Madrid, but here is the catch, of course. They are 10 points behind, top of the table, and again, swiftly transitioning to the game, Atletico Madrid versus Cadiz. And I think Koeman, even happy with the victory, should be looking at Atletico Madrid, looking at Luis Suarez, and just crying his soul out or something. Because Suarez again on the score sheet with a brace this time, and not just any brace, a free kick that would make Messi proud indeed. Along 27-28 yard, scoring the first goal. Then Alvaro Negredo scored the 34th minute to equalise for Cadiz. It looked like the game was pretty equal and pretty balanced, but then Saul Niguez with a lucky goal, just like Ndombele a couple of weeks ago for Tottenham, I think against Sheffield it was. Saul Niguez got a lucky touch from a free kick and from a corner really, and scored the second goal for Atletico Madrid before half-time. Straight into the second half, 4 minutes in, Suarez gets his brace from the spot. 3-1 for Atletico Madrid. It almost became 3-1 for Atletico Madrid. It almost became nervy in the late stages of the second half, with Alvaro Negredo scoring the second goal, equalising for Cadiz. But until that, Koke in the 87th minute scoring the fourth goal, given Atletico yet another 3 points. And every time you need to think about it, you need to consider that Atletico Madrid still have 2 games in hand. So these 10 points could be 16 points. And if it is 16 points, in the end, we're not going to be talking about a competition for the league or a title race. I mean, the Clásico would probably have no meaning whatsoever when it comes to the Clásico. I mean, last season, it had implications about the title, but this season, it looks like it's not going to have any importance whatsoever, and people are just going to be watching the Clásico for the sake of watching the names of Real Madrid and Barcelona players and what have you, maybe watching just Messi's last Clásico, potentially. But for Atletico Madrid, I think the league is done. The league is a done deal, really, and, with 10 points of difference, this deep into the season, 2 matches in hand, and a strong attack, really. Atletico Madrid are La Liga's second strongest attack. And this is a stat I never thought I would say, but it is indeed. It is the second strongest attack, and not just the second, it's 1 goal behind Barcelona, so it's potentially could go even stronger with the second strongest attack and the strongest defense in the league with 10 points. I mean, the surprise is they conceded 2 goals against Cadiz to begin with. Like, it is a surprise. Like, every time they concede, they concede by 2, really, feel like. But anyway, I think we can properly say congratulations for Atletico Madrid, because, they won the league and all. I mean, I don't want to hold hope for anything, but, facts are facts, numbers are numbers don't lie, really, and Atletico Madrid just running away with the league at the moment. It doesn't happen very often. This is Simeone's season, and he should be looking forward for the rest of the season to dominate La Liga. To think that Atletico Madrid would be the side with the most victories, and to be the side at the top of the table with this amount of points this deep into the season, and with those kind of stats, it's just bonkers that if they don't win the league, I don't know what could happen for Atletico and for Simeone. Simeone probably would be hung in Madrid, really, on the walls of the Metropolitano if he's not winning the league this season. It's just going to be crazy if he didn't. They won't care if they don't go through the Champions League quarterfinal, they don't go deep into that competition. They won't really care, the Atletico fans. They will all really care about winning the league this season because they know they can, and, pretty much they did anyway. So the round 21 finishes, of course, tomorrow with Betis versus Osasuna. Table stands like this: 50 points for Atletico, as I mentioned, on top. Barcelona 40, as well as Real Madrid. Sevilla 39, Villarreal 35, 32 for Real Sociedad, 29 for Granada, 27 for Betis, 26 for Levante, 25 for Celta, 24 for Getafe, Athletic Club and Cadiz, 23 for Valencia, 20 points for Eibar and Valladolid, 19 for both Osasuna and Alaves, 17 for Elche and Huesca with 16 points. It's quite tense also down there in the nether regions of the table of La Liga, not just in the top. To the Premier League, and round 21 of fixtures has rounded up pretty much with 4 matches on Sunday. The kickoff was from London as Chelsea managed to defeat Burnley 2-0, the first victory for Thomas Tuchel with his new club. Azpilicueta with the 40th minute opener, then Marcos Alonso late with the second goal and the winner pretty much for that game against a Burnley side. It was the game that you'd expect from Burnley, sitting down in the back, trying to defend aggressively and trying to defend roughly and trying to be all sorts of bullying on the ball, lumping long balls into the attack, looking for the likes of Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, but it didn't work this time. Thomas Tuchel continued on playing the 3-5-2 that he used in the last time against Wolves. Really, it transitioned into relying on Mount and Werner this time behind Abraham instead of Mount and Havertz, or Ziyech and Havertz. Was continuing with Hudson-Odoi as a wing back. It looks like an idea that is working at the moment. So again, I mentioned in the review of the last match against Wolves, I said that it will be really good to see him as a wing back because he's direct and he can give you some good incisive runs. He doesn't have to work defensively because he has Azpilicueta behind him. So it is a win-win situation, it looks, in terms of Callum Hudson-Odoi. But I mean, the problem is the fact that your third centre half and your left wing back are the ones who are scoring, and they're not even offensive kind of players. I mean, Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta are not exactly the most prolific of goal scorers, but when they do goal score for you, and you don't have any of the strikers doing that, you know that you have a problem. I'm not going to say a big problem, but it's a persistent problem, a continuous problem from the Lampard era. The fact that they sometimes cannot score goals, and most of the time it comes as a hard thing for them to score goals in any game. When you have Giroud on the bench, and, Giroud didn't even make an appearance, and why you didn't do that when you needed a goal? Pulisic was introduced, Havertz was introduced, Reece James was introduced, no Ziyech on the side, which was, really, disappointing, I think, for me to see, really, as an African and as an Arabi, to see that Ziyech was not in the side. With Chelsea. A good victory, an important victory for Chelsea, against a side like Burnley. Not all the teams could get 2 goals against Burnley, really. We saw that. Liverpool lost to them. Tottenham couldn't score past them. Only City managed something big against them, scoring 5, really, but it is, I think, an accomplishment for Thomas Tuchel. But still, again, the problem in goal scoring and in terms of attackers, really, it needs to be solved pretty soon. Leeds United managed to shock Leicester City away from home at King Power Stadium 3-1. It is Harvey Barnes thought he gave Leicester a comfortable lead, but 2 minutes after that, Stuart Dallas, with the assist from Patrick Bamford, equalises 1-1 for Leeds before Patrick Bamford adds the second goal in the middle of the second half to make it 2-1 for Leeds, before Jack Harrison bouncing on a beautiful counter, really, from Leeds United. Leicester were completely cold by the end of the game. Of course, it was the casual scenario. If you hear the result, it was Leicester leading Leeds turning things around, Leicester going for the jugular, going for the equaliser, getting caught on the counter, and from a set piece altogether, not just any counter, it's a set piece counter, the one that Man United conceded from against Istanbul, which actually here in the Champions League, where everyone is just forward, no defenders, and the players from Leeds were coming in droves from the midfield, and Jack Harrison scored the third goal in a game that was as poised as you expect, as entertaining as you expect from two teams. They just like to play good football and entertaining football, and this is an important victory for Leeds United that probably would kick them a little bit up the chin in terms of the table. Now they have 29 points, at 12th, and they're not that far from Champions League spots and European spots if you look at it from a statistic perspective. They still have a game in hand. They could easily go into European spots if they keep this run going and rack a couple of victories. You don't know what is the future is going to hold in them, really. We'll wait and see what is going to happen for Leeds United. Then, of course, it was West Ham versus Liverpool, and I think this is the game that everyone was waiting for. Not the game everyone was talking about. The game everyone was waiting for. There's a difference, because the game that everyone was talking about will come later on. Liverpool, 3-1 victory against West Ham away from home. Important in every aspect of the word. It was a good performance. It was a great win. It was the kind of dominating display that you'd expect from the top tier, top form Liverpool side, with the likes of Salah being on form, scoring a brace, not just any brace, beautiful brace, a curler into the left corner, and the second goal that he scored from a counter-attack is just ridiculous. The first touch he had on the ball with his right foot nonetheless. Like, people sometimes blame Mo Salah for being not technical, that's the word I'm looking for, being not technical, but I'm sure that if you watch the goals that he scored, you will probably, take that claim away, because those two goals do not come from someone who's not technical. Those goals can only be scored by someone who's good technically on the ball, and Mo Salah is good technically on the ball. I think he's going to be in the right mood, really, scoring against Tottenham, but he was chalked off. Now scores a brace against West Ham, 15 goals at the top of the scoring charts in the Premier League, and helping Liverpool winning eventually a comfortable win by 3-1. Wijnaldum added a third before Dawson making it 3-1 for a consolation goal for West Ham, who were bad on the night, but I think this shouldn't shame the good season, the great season that they're having with David Moyes on the helm of the club. They're still pretty much in the top 5 of the table. I'm not saying they're going to be winning the title or anything, but it's going to be good if they can get some European spots for the rest of the season. Obviously, they could roll down the table pretty quickly, and the results are not consistent this season for any team, so you could really drop below anyone at any time. The competitors are many. You have Tottenham behind you, Chelsea behind you, Everton behind you, Aston Villa behind you, Arsenal behind you. All of those teams that I mentioned are maximum 4 points behind West Ham. So, this could be a tough time for West Ham United keeping a top table spot, so to speak. But I think they could manage to do it with the resources that they have, with the players they have, and with the coach they have. I think they could have a good chance of defending the place in the top half of the table. And finishing off, Brighton defeated Tottenham 1-0. Kane is not there. Bale starting, having a ridiculous performance, conceding a goal from open play, and not just any open play, it was link-up play. Like, we've been praising Tottenham for defending in a good block, positioning themselves really well, not allowing spaces to play short passes and forcing teams to play sideways, but the goal that he conceded was, hitting that straight in the heebie-jeebies, because Trossard, the space that Trossard found, and the link-up play, and how quick and how open Tottenham's defence was in that goal, just shows you that they even lost the basics of defending. So their form is dipping really, really bad at the moment. The fact that they now lost the, this is the 4th game they lose against Brighton in the last 5. That is unbelievable. Like, talk about their form against Liverpool. How about their form against Brighton? They lost 4 of the last 5, and of course, I think no, I was mistaken. I'm sorry. I apologize. Really, I missaw the stats. Really, it was the other way around. It was Tottenham defeating Brighton 4 out of the last 5 times. I apologize for that. Really, I just made a knee-jerk reaction. But anyway, even so, Brighton now defeated Tottenham with a goal from open play, a goal that shouldn't be standing and shouldn't really be. It should be happening for a defense like Tottenham. We've been praising for the whole season of being compact and not allowing spaces. So it looks like even Tottenham lost their basics of defending. Their form is just bad altogether. Really, if you look at it, the loss against Liverpool might not be big in the scope of things, really, because it's a game against Liverpool. But I think this loss against Brighton, and the fact that Brighton, dominated the game relatively in terms of chances and shots, that would ask a lot of questions from Mourinho's man, I think, I would say. The table after the end of this round: Man City with 44 points, Man United 41, Liverpool 40, 39 for Leicester, 35 for West Ham, 33 for Tottenham, Chelsea and Everton, Aston Villa 32, Arsenal 31, 29 for Southampton and Leeds United, Crystal Palace 26, Wolves 23, Newcastle 22, Burnley as well, Brighton 21 points, 14 for Fulham, West Brom 12 and Sheffield United at the very bottom with 8 points. To quickly wrap up the episode, we're going to be mixing between the Bundesliga and Serie A all in once, really. Only 2 matches took place in the Bundesliga from round 19 yesterday. Cologne managing a victory against Arminia Bielefeld 3-1, as Wolfsburg managed a victory against Freiburg 3-0. Of course, I'm happy for Elias Khiri, my fellow Tunisian, with giving an assist on the second goal for Cologne. That helped them go to 14th on the table now with 18 points, as Arminia Bielefeld dropped to 16th with 17 points. Freiburg dropping to 9th, 27 points, while Wolfsburg going 3rd on the table with 35 points now behind, in front of Frankfurt, behind Leipzig and Bayern. Leverkusen behind them as well. Dortmund are 6th, Leverkusen are 5th, 4th are Frankfurt. On the table of the Bundesliga. The next fixture is going to be seeing Hertha Berlin facing Bayern, Augsburg facing Wolfsburg, Mainz facing Union Berlin, Schalke, Leipzig, interesting one, Freiburg versus Dortmund, Leverkusen, Stuttgart, Mönchengladbach facing Cologne, Hoffenheim facing Frankfurt, and Arminia Bielefeld hosting Werder Bremen. To Italy, really, nothing of a note really happened in Italy. It was I think a pedestrian sort of round of action, despite the fact that there was 6 matches really, in Italy. On Sunday, Spezia lost to Udinese 1-0, Rodrigo De Paul from the spot scoring the winner for them. Cagliari drawn against Sassuolo 1-1, Jeremy Berger saving a late point for Sassuolo. Atalanta losing 3-1 to Lazio at home just after defeating them in the Cup 3-2. The goals were spectacular goals, by the way. The first goal from I think it was Maruzic. It was Adam Maruzic scoring the first goal inside 2 minutes. It was a beautiful curler. You should go out of there and watch it. Korea had the second goal 50 minutes into the game. Atalanta thought they get one back with Pasalic at 78 minutes, but it was Murici scoring the third goal and giving Lazio an all-important win over Atalanta Bergamo, dropping Atalanta to 7th on the table and moving up to 6th, just above them in the standings. Crotone lost to Genoa 3-0 at home. Napoli defeated Parma 2-0 at home. A big victory for Gennaro Gattuso. Elgif Elmas opening the scoreline before Bolitano adds the second later on. And Roma defeating Verona 3-1. It was the Bochum show, if you wanna ask about it. Mancini scored the first goal in 19 minutes. Mkhitaryan added the second goal in 21 minutes with the assist from Mayoral, and 3-0 it becomes in the half an hour mark for Mayoral's goal and the third goal for Roma before Colli making it 3-1 again, saving face of Verona, and a big victory for the Wolves of the capital. So the table of the Serie A looks like this after this round. Milan, top of the table, 46 points, 44 with Inter, 40 for Roma, Juventus 39, Napoli 37, Lazio 37, 36 for Atalanta, 31 for Sassuolo, 30 for Verona, Sampdoria 26, 22 for Fiorentina, 22 for Benevento, 21 for Udinese, Genoa as well, Bologna 20, Spezia 18, 15 for Torino, Cagliari 15 as well, Parma in the 19th place with 13 points, and 12 points for Crotone. The next fixture for Serie A is going to be Fiorentina versus Inter, Milan versus Crotone, Atalanta, Torino, Sassuolo, Spezia, Juventus versus Roma, Genoa versus Napoli, Benevento versus Sampdoria, Udinese versus Verona, Parma versus Bologna, and Lazio versus Cagliari. And also in between all of that, there is a Coppa Italia. The semi-final is going to be taking place in this midweek, as Inter are going to be facing Juventus on tomorrow. Actually, on Tuesday, Juventus are going to be facing Inter in the reverse fixture and the second leg of that semi-final on 9th of February. Napoli, we're going to be playing Atalanta on Wednesday, and next Wednesday they're going to be facing them in the second leg of that competition. That's all for this episode. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP. Thank you for watching / listening. Follow us on social media. I'm at PSP on Twitter, Pitchside Pod on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, most importantly, and enable notifications to receive all the possible updates from these episodes of the podcast and the other content on the channel. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until next time, I'll see you soon.